lane. So
are we gonna get a Palu's all chat straight off the bat? Is anyone gonna say Palu's? It feels like an obvious one here for Execration.
Prepare for battle.
nah, they're serious. Oh no, just a good luck.
Luck. Very good.
Crash talk off, says Bob.
Come on, Bob.
Wow.
Well.
Crash
Well,
talk off,
Palos.
please.
So what did I tell you, John? So with these two teams trying to be nice to each other now, apparently. I guarantee the first time Palos dies, there'll be some tips coming out.
Oh, for sure.
Big wraparound here from Blacklist Rivalry. CML actually going to take a lot of damage by the looks of it. No, he does back off, and the miss shot doesn't lock anyone else in. Krish is going to stun up himself now. The Fiesta is upon us already, John. Very, very good. Nobody dies here in this level 1 team fight. And it seems like they probably will just back off in embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good change of pace for Execration. The last time we saw them force a level 1 fight, they died 4 times. So a Pugna spamming spell. It's not going to happen this time around, fortunately, for Execration. No repeats of that. Trash talk off. You know, I will say a new pun that I've heard about Palos. I think I mentioned this to you yesterday. Cuckoo has dubbed him Paflush for some reason, like a toilet. So his stream title was, do we watch Paflush or do we just go pubs? That was his stream title yesterday. God bless that man.
That's why they call him the Master, John. Krish, in a bit of danger. Looks like he'll be okay, but he has to leave the batty rids alone. Krish, still taking a lot of damage, but is alright. I tuned into the Cuckoo stream as well, John. I must say, I think Januel was there if I heard the voice correctly. And they were saying something like "Thank you, Palos." You know, just doing the old thank you. CML still being chased down top lane, might actually die here, but does barely survive. I don't know.
Good.
Cuckoo's just having a good time.
Yeah, no, he is. Like they tend to hang out just in Discord, and they're a funny bunch, especially when Force is on. I cannot comprehend what they talk about when Force is there. Like it hurts. It actually hurts my head. God bless. It's funny, but I can't keep up with the levels of weird puns they do. As what we do have that isn't too punny are these lanes. What?
I work with a Filipino 24/7, John. How do you think I feel about that puns?
Yes, of course. Of course, but trust me, Nico takes it to a different level. So does Bob with his laning up against Abed here. Going to be an interesting matchup. The Pango versus the Magnus. Not something we see too often of nowadays. Should still be maybe a little bit better for Abed, but it's not like Bob has no play. He doesn't have the kill threat with Skewer though, so... And well, I say that. He does still get a good Skewer back, but again, you have the Swash to save. At the least, when Bob does that, it does remove the Swash in terms of clearing out the creep wave, so he can keep it kind of shoved in his favor, especially if he times that right around the water runes to give him a mildly easier time in trying to control the mana economy here just a bit.
Speaking of Bob, what was the line Bob kept saying to us at APAC? He kept saying time to smack these kids or something?
No, he said, he kept saying stuff like, I will eat them for lunch. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry, I will eat them.
That is John X5 doing the accent, by the way. That is not me. Just so we're all aware.
That's my real voice. This is just a fake American voice I put up, you know? That's how I really sound at home. Exactly like that. You know?
You don't normally sound this stupid. Thank you, we appreciate the compliment. What a Tino and Shanks. I'm feeling very toxic today, John. I'm not sure why. Shanks and Tino against Carlo and Palos. Carlo trying to avoid a Fisher to come out from Shanks. Palos looking to be pretty fine for now. Actually has 8 CSs. The Fisher does block him, but doesn't... I think Shanks is just trying to kill the Ghost. The Fisher did not connect with the Meepo. He just wants the Ghost to die.
That does a lot of damage, and the Penitent's chase down onto Shanks is really winning for Carlo. Like, there's no counterplay for the Shaker there at all. It's not like Tino wants to expend the mana to burn down the Ghost. He would rather try to CS and get some free harassment onto Palos whenever possible. So they're doing a great job of mitigating this risky lane down bot, where Execration will want to, again, try to pile on with a Viper Shaker as much as possible, but it will take a few levels for them to feel comfy in that. And for now, you're doing a pretty decent job on Palos, considering this is a Viper lane. He's not shut out too heavily. It's all down to really Carlo and his micro.
Sad for Krish, he just lost his brown boots here, John. Gabby does end up picking off the courier with the God's Rebuke, so sad for Krish here for another minute. He's just going to be moving very, very slowly. Gabby does seem to be having a pretty damn good time on the Mars as well in this off lane. 13 and 6 in terms of the CS board. not really struggling at all. CML at the very least is holding the back and allowing Krish to get his own CS going. But it seems like a relatively good laning stage for Blacklist so far, I would argue.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good overall. I think you're also not too upset here on Execration. Again, I think the big part for Exe is trying to maximize this bot lane, which does feel a lot slower than you'd want it to be. They're not able to get that free harassment. Onto Palos, Carlo is still getting the pulse, getting the creeps to annoy Shanks, cutting off the Shaker from finding these angles with a fissure. And as long as the Shaker Viper can't play into their strengths, the Meepo is going to be able to farm, hit that point where he gets his divided up, starts to get some self-stacks, even hit the jungle if he feels too much pressure. So they've got ways of mitigating this early shutdown attempt or just laning pressure coming out from Exe. I think the big part for keeping that momentum up for Execration is going to be on Bob. And his Magnus is starting to pull slightly ahead in comparison to Abed. And he's done a great job of just managing his mana. Having a bit of a better time. No bottle refill for Abed as well. It's just down to these skewers. You know, he forces the skewer back when creep wave's not there. Forcing out the swash. And then Abed just doesn't have a wave to safely farm.
Bob has been proving to be one of the, definitely one of the stronger mids as of late. I want to say he's been consistently very potent in the laning stage. It does consistently surprise me as well that Bob is not picked up by bigger teams internationally. You know, like that he isn't quite recognized yet, unless he's the one rejecting offers. But it does surprise. He's getting to that stage now where I'd say international teams might be looking at him. You know, he's consistently very good.
That he is. I think it might be down to... it's not that Bob doesn't speak English, as he gets another skewer back.
He does speak it. I've heard him speak it. Abed. Well, you can make that argument all you want, John. Abed hasn't said a word to us for years. You know, this guy acts like he can't speak English. I'd prefer the guy that literally can't speak it than the guy that acts like he can't speak it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Abed did dodge us for a good 5 years, dodging every single interview request, dodging even just casual chatter. All of a sudden, he's a reformed man.
He was wrong. The one time he told us he was wrong, he gave us the wrong food recommendation. It was terrible.
Yeah, he had a bad food take. Abed needs to get his taste buds checked. You know, the better half has better taste buds as well. A little bit of a rotation onto mid from Blacklist. Just, they have a semi-army. That's a lot of commitment onto mid. But they want the power room. They cannot allow Bob to have it. Again, he's done a great job just managing this lane. Abed picking up the haste does deny movement out from Bob. But Bob doesn't really have any connections anyway to play with. Like, rotating onto the Alk lane. Alk lane doesn't sound great. Rotating onto the Viper lane with a low-level Shaker doesn't sound amazing as well. So I don't think even if Bob found a power rune that's all too important outside of just topping up, it's going to be a static farm fest on mid and the side lanes, considering how all of these heroes want to play.
Not just taking it easy for now. Krish top of the CS board on the Alchemist, which is a great sign for Execration. Mind you, CML is literally just following Krish, just helping him take creeps. I mean, I suppose they just gave up at the laning stage and said, screw it. Just help me hit creeps. And it's kind of working. As stupid as it looked, it's working.
They're trying to play Meepo, you know. Palas has two of himself. Krish only has himself, so CML has to act as the second, you know, just to help spread that joy around. Because Palas has the exact same gameplay. He's hitting jungle as well. Like, literally everyone just wants farm, although that could end with CML here.
Absolutely, CML needs to get back and help his carry hit creeps. He will die. CML not really able to get away. Tims will take first blood. Scabby was trying his absolute best to secure that kill, but sadly for him, Tims will take.
That should provide an opening to shove in top just a bit. Acid Spray does kind of slow that down a tad, but Krish is not going to be able to maintain presence there for too long without risking his life. A very slow game. Again, outside of laning phase, if nothing happens, you will default to farm for these two kinds of lineups. Bob is the launching point. He has the RP ready, but you know, he's not too keen as well. Rotations out from Blacklist here, though.
Oh, Bob flipped it up. Tims will save the shield rune. Abed getting the VIP treatment here in the mid lane. To be perfectly fine to back his way out with that power rune from Salt.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
All things being said and done, though, Bob has won out the mid lane. Like, even if it's just slightly, he is ahead. CML still trying to help set up Bob to go for an RP, but it's not going to happen.
You know what we call this treatment of Abed? This is the balikbayan treatment. You know, someone who you haven't seen in a long time, from abroad, comes back home. You treat them like
Radiant's
kings.
bottom tower
You
is
get
under
all
attack.
their favorite food. That's exactly
that
what
right?
Abed's getting. Yeah.
So why is it when I came to the
Dire's top
Philippines you
tower
didn't treat
is
me like
under
a king,
attack.
John?
What the hell are you talking about? How
Radiant's
dare you
bottom
slander my
tower is
hospitality?
under attack.
What do you want? What do you want? It was a good time. I think.
For you it was.
Dire's
Yeah.
middle
Oh, so
tower
you think?
is
Well,
under
that's
attack.
it was a good time, John. I'm
Radiant's
joking.
bottom
No,
tower
you were.
is under
You were
attack.
very hospitable. Whatever. There's a word I'm looking for. Right? Something hospitable. Hospitable is maybe the word I'm looking for. It's a hard
I
word,
thought that's
John.
exactly what you said. I didn't think you needed to correct, but I appreciate the double, triple checking there, Mike.
Tower is under attack.
You know,
I
had to
leave
solo
you for
cast.
one series. Yeah,
I had to
leave you
solo
for one
cast too,
series.
so
Oh,
because we said-
not very hospitable of me, is it?
Are fortified.
Oh, look at you! You said the word right the first time.
Chat must be like, what the hell are
Dire's
these
top
guys
tower
talking about?
is
Guys,
under
it's
attack.
1-0. They're farming and just pushing, alright? It's not much to look at.
No, is Talon playing? Is that what's happening?
Which roster, though? You
Yeah.
mean, oh, do you mean
Dire's
old
top
Talon?
tower is fortified.
Last year?
Uh, Anyway, it's good to have you back, John. There were people in the chat asking for you, by the way. I'm not sure why, as they can see now that was a mistake, but you are back.
I'm glad to be back, Mike. I don't think anyone was in chat. I think you just forgot your meds today, Mike. I'm sorry. Forgot to tell you.
Well, bottom lane, could have some action here. Shanks is going to fish her off onto the Meepo. Palos is gone. Nice pick up there from Execration. Still Blacklist rivalry moving in. Gabby with a very nice arena, catching out the Viper. They've already taken down Shanks. Well, this Viper Tino, he's going to try and get some damage off before he dies, but he is gone. And it seems as though CML will be soon joining him as well as Gabby. With the hand up, lands the spear into the T2 tower. That'll be CML to go down as Ahmed trying desperately to take the kill himself, but won't quite get it.
Yeah, the Balikbayan treatment only extends to runes, Abed. Kills are still a free-for-all. No, Gabby's not just gonna hand that back to you.
How do you say that, John? Balik what?
Balikbayan,
Balik
which
Maya.
is,
There you go.
yeah, that means come back to country. Back to home, basically. That's Abed, in a nutshell. He's a changed man since coming home, honestly. It's amazing. I don't know, I just never expected Abed to say more than 5 words at once, but he does speak.
Yeah.
The man does speak.
Those eye bags under his eyes are gone. Smiling. Very strange.
I feel
Well,
like
they
they
took over
passed
there.
that sickness to another. They passed the sickness to another young, hopeful man, like my fellow Davawenyo. Like, how can I cope? Oh, how,
You and I,
how do
we
I
saw,
cope?
we had a phone call with Japoy. He wasn't looking too good. He looked tired.
Dire
He looked
are
very, very tired.
Mind you, it was like around, I don't know, 8 a.m. for him, which is real no awake gamer hours. So
Yeah.
just maybe that, but one can imagine the possibilities of other backline stories there, Mike. What we don't need to imagine is the game going at 4-1 with a 1k lead. You have this good build-up for Palos. He hasn't been shut down outside of that one gank, but his progress has stalled out. Number 4 net worth overall. Small lead being built up by Krish into the Radiance. The Radiance timings would really kind of throw us off the Meepo. You don't really have a great way of dealing with that until you hit level 20. The burn damage, preventing the further blinks in, can be a massive nuisance as well. Bob is inching closer towards that blink dagger on the mag. It should lead to more stable initiation attempts for them, but same thing goes here for Gabby. His blink within 100 gold, Bob's blink just coming out. Timings are aligned. So we might be able to see close smoke timing from both sides, and Blacklist will get that started.
They will. Blacklist rivalry through the mid lane. Head up the river. Oh, Mines will give away the position. Abed will run right into a proximity mine. They will still venture towards the north in that dire jungle. Scan is going to kind of give that information over to Execration. They are still indeed around that
Palos.
area, though mid lane, Palos is going to go down. So Palos, maybe getting a little bit too excited, does end up dropping.
I'm so surprised. No tips, no all chat.
No,
This is not the Execration I know. When they're playing
No.
against a ex-teammate.
maybe they assume Palos will be back in a week. John, you never know. Try to be nice to the guy. Skewer back from Bob. He's found the Rubik. This activity is gonna die. Meanwhile, Gabby. That's a great arena. Gabby's in. CML is down. Bob is in huge trouble. Bob should surely die.
Oh.
They missed the swash, but it won't matter. He is gone. Gabby to the rescue.
Is under attack.
Oh,
A
man.
triple kill for Gabby. Yeah, this is the Gabby master plan job. You get rid of Raven, you bring in Palos. You get rid of Palos, guess who's playing POS 1? It's Gabby. It's a master plan.
Oh, my God.
Mark my words. Mark my words. Within a month, Gabby will be playing POS 1 for Blacklist.
Oh, that is an insane storyline, but that was a great move out from Gabby, salvaging what could have been a very rough exchange. Do manage to make that a little bit more worthwhile with the kills and leading into that tier 1 push. And Gabby and Abed connecting like two long lost buddies, or two Balikbayans technically, with Gabby spending a little time in Europe. I don't know. He's a Balikbayan too. Abed and Gabby must have bonded over that fact. Another smoke out. Cooldowns are not too far off, but Arena is down, and so is the roll. Execration. This is the one thing with X's draft. With a Shaker, you are going to be stuck waiting for a few more to have that additional Blink and Shard. They have the high ground position. Not a good spot for Blacklist to easily sneak into. They still have the amplified damage running for just a bit longer. Will fade. And Exa, I mean, the one great thing for Exa is free farm for Krish. Radiance is up and running. Alk will set to escalate. Once that BKB is up on Krish, he should be ready to join his team. Like, that's when you need to leverage that Radiance, get that burn going, get that mischance going up against the Meepo and start to whack away. Until then, gotta hold on to these towers as best as you can.
They will do so for now. I mean, the tier 1 tower is dropping slowly but surely, but it doesn't seem as though they want to stick around here on Blacklist Rivalry. Execration successfully defending for now. Like Tino does have the full wags up on the Viper, so the nosedive is now available. Very nice defensive utility against a hero like Chen, and of course the Meepo as well. Seems like Blacklist is still going to show up at this bottom side and maybe just continue the pressure. They do have a siege creep here, so a bit more damage to be had. It seems like Execration might just let this one go. Eventually.
Yeah, they want to make Blacklist work for it, you know, commit the heroes to keep it shoved in, make sure they're not hunting down Krish in that time. So the commitment here does just keep to force Blacklist to kind of make that choice. They do leave it alone for now, only Gabby hanging around the area. They're starting to walk around top, no forward vision this time from Blacklist. But Tims does have the stolen prox mines. That's a big boon for them. And just getting some information out. And Rubik mines are the most annoying thing. As when I do play Rubik, like every Rubik player, or anyone that has played Rubik up against techies, when you get those mines, you feel very happy though. It's satisfying.
Oh yeah. It's amazing.
I don't know why. Like, you play techies, it's like, alright, the mines are fine, but you get it on Rubik for some reason, you feel even happier. As the Roche does begin with mines to guard here.
Bottom tower is under attack.
It does.
Dire's bottom
That's the thing as well, they don't change color, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So you don't know that they're the Rubik mines. It's kind of amazing. Mind you, it kind of works the same way for Blacklist, right? They don't know either whose mines are who. So there is that. Blacklist will get away with the Aegis, hand it over to Arbet. Still seems as though the side of Blacklist are well and truly in control. Like, you do have to somewhat worry about Krish's Alchemist, who is coming online, but he's not that far ahead. He really is. In fact, Krish, speaking of, he'll make the jump in onto Tims, but Tims does have some mines down already. In fact, that was CML's mines. Never mind. So,
yeah.
This is what I mean. Like, why can't we make them look different?
No. This is how landmines really work, Mike. Do you think they identified him? No. They're just underground. This is Dota2. This is close to real life as you can get. Fortunately, it is closer without that Chen mount. It's not a horrendous Chen mount no longer. I think that's what caused the power outage for me, honestly.
are scattered.
We spent too much time in it. Starting to gather around onto Tino. Not the easiest target, especially with the eggs and the Yasha. Gabby.
He's gonna just man up and run right through the lines. Probably because Gabby.
Alright.
Gabby, oopsie daisies. That's alright. Palos is here now to try and intervene and help them get a bit of a trade going, but Tino's a bit too tanky. In fact, now Palos is the one in danger. Has to go for the Mega Meepo to back off, but they do land a nice Fisher. Bob Could go for a skewer, but the lift up from Tims is going to ensure he cannot. He still holds on to the RP though, so go on to Abed instead on the Pango. Abed has been blown up. That is the first one. Can they get him a second time? Well, they'll land the stun onto Abed, but he does get the swash away. Still a successful fight for the side of Execration, considering they do take down Gabby.
And it's a very confident charge forward from Gabby, but after the one mine pop, without that retreat, it felt a little bit overexcited. He had no blink angle because of the damage he took. He couldn't go forward, set up the angle for the Arena Spear, and it falls apart without that initial control to set up for Abed to play off the back of.
Looks like Shanks has been left behind. Gabby will say thank you very much. Drops the Arena as well, just in case. No problems. Gabby would just sing to him as well before he dies. Why the hell not? There we go. 5-1 and 3 is the Mars. A fantastic performance here from Gabby. The one death was actually him just running in and dying. So there you go.
Yeah, just getting a little bit too focused and trying to catch out there, and at least find some punishment in the end. Execration more than happy with how this game is going so far. I mean, you have these initial timings on Palos, but again, the Meepo almost feels like it does need a little bit more early on. We are seeing the disperser buildup that we've seen time and time and again on these Meepos. That's going to be a nice spike for Palos and trying to get a chase down or a little bit of a buff up on the retreat. They're setting up for the Tormentor as well, which you can always do as the techies, of course, for the triple mines. Be able to find a nice freebie shard for themselves onto Bob. So they've got that additional usage of the shockwave, I suppose, just for clearing out the creep waves, but it's not the most impactful. And you might actually have preferred to get Tino on his shard, just to open up some push potential, which is one shortcoming of the exit draft, outside of just Krish running up with his attack speed and damage, which, again, isn't ideal at this point of the game just yet for the Alchemist. My concern for Blacklist is, you know, you mentioned the Alchemist being a timer hero. The Meepo, I mean, it scales a bit better, but it also somewhat has a timer. So it's a little bit strange once we get into a late game scenario, if we do get to that point, for the Meepo versus Alch matchup, because it's just a little bit awkward. You have the durability in the Meepo, but an Alchemist can do a lot of damage. It's also not enough to melt a Meepo. Kind of hinges more on the team fight than the execution, which makes this game kind of like a classic Rambulan from way back when. Like, this is just basically going to be bashing heads against each other if it drags long.
Middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
T1 mid tower is not lasting too long here. Krish will go ahead and take care of it. They will glyph it up, but should not last now. Like this, they will push out the top T2 tower though in the meantime. So you do have a decent trade going on for Blacklist if they are able to take that T2 out. Thing is, it does lift up in Execration. They are going to smoke up as 4 and rush right towards the top lane. So Tino is already around the area just defending that tier 2 tower. Krish will frontline for his team. Does have the blink up. Just needs to find himself a target, but he's going to find the check. Alright, he does self-stun, but it won't matter too much. Carlo is still looking to fall, and they will get it. Not the biggest kill, but it's something.
It's something. A little bit fortunate for Krish that it does pop in the right exact location. Unfortunately, they can't really translate this into entering Roshan. Still 3 minutes away until we see the spawn timer. They could try to invade Triangle, but tier 1 still stands, so it's going to be a siege from Tino. Without the shard, not the fastest as well. There's enough time here to respond on Blacklist, and they will smoke out on Gabby and Tims.
Tino. Oh, that's a beautiful angle here for Abed. Gets him on the no, doesn't get him on the high ground. Tino will not be so lucky. Still stuck in the arena. Tino is somehow alive. Will go for the Viper Strike. In comes Bob, looking for Gabby. Does commit the RP. He's only got one. And now Tims, he'll take the RP away. Finally, Tino goes down to the backside. And somehow Gabby will survive another day. As Abed now rushing forward, will take down CML. Looking for Shanks as well. Does get him. Bob's going to be alright. He'll TP up. A great fight here for Blacklist Rivalry.
Yeah, that's a massive win. That catch onto Tino just being a little bit too far forward I'm not sure what that movement was about for Tino. He was shoving in top tier 1 and then walks down on diagonal on the river for no real gains. He had no ward to plant. There's nothing to find on mid. And that movement does cost them. They weren't grouped up to try to sneak around onto the triangle together there either. Blacklist. Great read on Tino backing off, understanding where the weaknesses would be and trying to get greedy, I suppose, on the Viper and managing to find a really good angle for Abed to build off of. No backup. At the very least, they didn't waste Slam, but stolen RP is going to be a big threat from Tims. He's just going to hang on to this until it's off cooldown. Like, legitimately, he's got the blink ready. He will build up more for this train wreck that Abed is rolling for the side of Blacklist.
Why not? It's a great spell to just keep. Smoke up again. Execration. Hanging around that mid lane. They did find an amplified damage rune for Gabby. It's going to feel very, very nice for the Mars. Bob will break the smoke. CML going to narrowly avoid the Rolling Thunder. The thing is, they have found Tino on the Viper with Palos right on top of him, and he's in pretty big danger. Tino is forced to just try to fight back, but he is down. A nice start to the fight once again here for Blacklist Rivalry. Gabby's having a look for more. Arena is down, only really catching CML, but it won't matter. They'll still find a secondary kill though. Abed, he will be dragged back into the loving arms of Krish, very far back in fact, that Abed is going to go down. So Bob with a very nice turnaround there onto the Pango. However, oh, Gabby. Gabby's diving in pretty deep for this one. Oh, Tims! Tims in with the RP, netting them up. Palos, he'll clean up here. Bob still actually gets a skewer away. Krish? Can Krish clean up perhaps? Meanwhile, Gabby, he's found CML again. CML still alive somehow. What is this game? What are they doing? Tino coming back. CML is somehow not dead yet. Finally does go down. Gabby should die. Krish will take his life. Meanwhile, Tino's going to go onto Tims. Tims trying to TP away, will actually make it, but might die in the fountain, and he does.
You know what this is, Mike? You're asking so many questions. It's an online Rambulan. It's the classic, baby. Dive behind tier 2s, go onto the high ground with tier 2 still up. Who cares? This is it. This is a fight. These are your ex-teammates. You gotta shame them. It's exactly it. And Palos, he was trying to prove a point. Of course, Abed also gets the Balikbayan treatment, an expressway through immigration into the loving hands of the luggage claim that is the tower. So that's a very lovely move from Bob to welcome Abed back home as well. Very welcoming, all your teams here.
Oh, absolutely. The most welcome. Palos, top lane. He's actually kind of surrounded here. Does he realize he's walking right into Shanks? Sadly, Shanks does not have the Echo available, but it may not matter if Palos is completely alone. He'll try. Is he going to turn? Why? He's going to try and turn this one. They found one Meepo. Here's his team moving up slowly but surely. Palos is buying a lot of time. Arena is down, but he's losing one of the Meepos and it's gone. Palos will die. Gabby, he was trying to get there in time, but now he might be in danger. Blacklist Rivalry, they will lose too.
Oh boy.
And that's very throwy from Blacklist's end of things. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That is a straight up throw.
It's funny, isn't Execration the team that does really throwy stuff? Huh. I think the script was flipped. We must have been reading the wrong scripts, Mike. Your intro, Sean, for Execration. I have no idea what happened there with Palos, like not catching that last Meepo. Did he? Surely it wouldn't have been him leveling up, getting the level up point while he had Mega Meepo up.
Don't say that. I mean, I think you're right. I think you are
Because I thought he got everything, then I suddenly see one random Meepo. I'm like, what the hell is that? Because I see he just turned 18, so.
Yeah, only 112 XP past the 18 mark. Looks like you're probably correct here, John.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake. It happens, Palos. You know,
happen.
or as Cuckoo loves to say, flush. I don't know why. It works, but I don't know why either. Much less Cuckoo.
You know why? Yeah, well, but nobody really understands what Cuckoo or why Cuckoo says what he says, John. But he's just, you know, he's talking. CML setting up the mine team for Palos. Palos not going to enjoy what he sees. CML then messes up with the blaster. Palos will actually, they'll still get the wisdom rune on the techies. CML will eventually die. Let's get the wisdom rune for his trouble.
You don't mind that. I think the EXP gain is pretty important, especially for Shanks. Start to get going on his Shaker. Love the build-up he's going for. Doesn't need too much utility. Has the Blink, wants the Octarine. It's just more uptime, more chain stunts to pull out with Aftershock being spammed from a lower cooldown enchant without having to wait for your talent. It just provides that added control that you are kind of lacking outside of just RP unstable here for the side of Excess. So it's really down to just the Shaker. As Shanks does die, as we talk about him, he gets shanked.
He certainly did get shanked in the dire triangle. Not a very good feeling for him. Still the 2k advantage the way of Execration, but that is considering they have an Alchemist draft, so it's nothing really to write home about. Lines still being drawn out here from Blacklist. They're just trying to control majority of the map. And that they certainly have majority of control of the map here as Execration still waiting for Krish to hit a point where he might be a real threat. I know what I'm saying about the Alchemist, you know, it just doesn't... It doesn't ever feel like it gets to a point where you're actually scared of it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, Krish has been doing a lot of work, though. His damage has been pretty good up front, especially with being power. I don't think it's down to him. The Meepo just looks a little bit scarier with Mega Meepo.
I'm not saying it's Krish's fault, John. I'm simply saying the hero itself
Dire are
is,
scanning.
you know, questionable in my opinion. Like this rivalry. Execration looking to run right in. Arena is down. Shanks does get caught out, but they missed the spear, so Shanks is able to keep going. RP is out from Bob. He's caught a couple of them. Meanwhile, Krish, where is Krish? He's alright for now. He'll move back in. They've got Palos down to boot. A beautiful setup out from Bob and Shanks. And Shanks did not die throughout all that, John. They missed the spear in the arena, so he kind of just survived.
Yeah, a little bit awkward to start for Execration. Krish was taking point, jumps, blinks forward way too far. And there was a nice little play from Tims. He lifts Abed while he's in Rolling Thunder just to get an additional stun off. Like, Krish could have died if he didn't pop his BKB. But off that distraction, lured Abed away from the main focal point of the fight. And Execration uses that position to win out. Push onto the high ground. They've got Chemical Rage coming off cooldown once more. And this is not going to take too long. No shard on Tino to speed us up further. There is still a Fortify to protect. They've still got this nice opportunity to rip apart, especially without the Rolling Thunder and Arena up for a few more seconds.
Through the mid lane they go. Execration. Looking for that first tier 3 tower of the game.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Palos is going to respawn, so Execration will pay their respect and back off. EBs are incoming. Blacklist, they might want to go for a fight. Keep in mind, Bob, he's looking for the skewer plays already. Carlo will be targeted here by Tino. A nice Fisher coming out from our Shaker, holding down a couple, though Tino may have gone a bit too far. Abed, in the meantime, gets the Rolling Thunder off in time, so he is fine to survive that skewer back from Bob. Arena down. They really want that Viper. Tino dropping a little bit lower, still pretty damn tanky. He's just stuck between a rock and a hard place, but a blast off. No! The Mega Meepo not going to allow the stunts to come out. Krish now is in the awkward position past the Fisher, but he will still survive. Is now Gabby? Oh, that's a quick silence. Gabby could not spear anyone back. Bob missed the skewer. Meanwhile, Palos back in on Tino. Though Tino, he'll cheese up. He'll survive another day. Palos, he'll go for the dig. He'll try to survive the old-fashioned ways. He does get out eventually. Nobody died.
Radiant's top tower is under
Nobody died throughout all of that, apart from the Viper with the Aegis. That's it.
Yeah, doesn't even matter too much. Tino's Aegis was set to expire in, like, what, 20 seconds when he died? Around that time. So, wasn't Aegis set to be used. The cheese being lost might be a bigger factor here, but it still doesn't hold Execration back. And that was Execration forcing the fight without their own usage of RP being ready. So they've got that.
Oh, Abed. Well, silence. Stun will land, but he is on the high ground. He'll make it. Tough situation now for Blacklist Rival. He's 7k behind. It feels as though the power spike has kind of occurred now for Execration, where they will start to want to be much more aggressive. Krish is hitting like a truck at this stage, and Blacklist, they've got to play the waiting game, I think.
I think your issue with a waiting game here is that, again, where do you scale off of? Because this Meepo will be building up more stats, wants to get really tanky on the Mega Meepo. It doesn't tend to go for too much damage on this hero. So I'm curious where they expect that. I mean, Gabby's already somewhat set up for damage, as the Deso is going for the AC into the Satanic, so you can do quite a lot with a God's Rebuke. I just don't feel like they scale as well, for sure, on Blacklist. Like the Meepo, we're talking about the Meepo and the Alk both being tempo. The Alk still feels like it gives more. Despite not being as durable as a Mega Meepo, it still does a lot more damage in a shorter time span in comparison to a Meepo. Outside of perhaps like a poof combination, but again, when you build Ags on Meepo, you're focused on the Mega Meepo to an extent here.
He spoke up. I mean, Execration. Move in, and we'll get to see if Palos has any chance against this Al, because Execration do not seem to believe so, nor do you. Execration not really finding the angle for the fight. They'll just get control of that Radiant triangle, or rather Radiant jungle instead.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, they've got steady push coming out from Exa now, with a shard being up on Tino. So if you just leave him alone and the poison attack kicks in,
Tino does get caught in an arena. Nice setup from Gabby. Tino still proving to be the big tanky boy though, does go for the nosedive, misses out on it, so Tino might just go down to the Viper, and he is finally down. There's now Blacklist. They really want the fight. A nice skewer from Tim's onto Shanks. Shanks will go down as the second. Now they're onto Krish. He does BKB TP away though and does get out. The Alchemist is okay, but they'll lose the Viper, they'll lose the Shaker. Execration will find nothing with this smoke attempt either. They just kind of miss out on everything.
rather curious. Tino takes point already on the tower. I expected some counterplay coming in there from Bob. He had a good opportunity for the RP. They had a good opportunity for an earlier slam from Shanks, but again, they play it safe. They do have a very funny combo ready now in Execration to CML. My boy Bryle builds the Ags on Techies with a skewer back on Magnus. We've got some memes ready, Mike.
I love it. We saw this last game as well from Bombi. Like the minefield side, you really cannot underestimate how much damage it does. You know, in the middle of a team fight, if nobody recognizes that it's down and active, oh my goodness, it really does just destroy everyone. And like you said, with a skewer back play in the middle of all that, yeah, you do get some damage on, that's for sure.
I remember Boom Esports when Natsumi was there. I think I showed you that clip. The minefield sign, and he just jumped in as Monkey King. He just blew up.
They're observing those two jumps. We're all drawing it out. We all remember.
Yeah.
Shout out to Natsumi.
Love him. Love Mr. John Vargas.
Now.
Hello, John. He's on Geek Fam, of course. Doing fine. He's fine.
Okay.
It's just an oopsie daisy, as we call it, Mike. The professional term.
It's not what you called it during the DPC.
No, that's not what I called it at all.
No. You didn't sound very happy after you saw that. That
I was
play
just.
from Natsumi.
I was in a state of shock that could happen, Mike.
That's a nice way to put it. I respect that. I appreciate it. Here we go, CML. He'll mine up the Roshan area. We saw this again from last series with Bomb. It's classic things. You want the Roshan, you just place mines everywhere. Make it impossible to go in without being scouted out. And if you get a nice RP skewer back into all these mines, well, you know, fireworks are going to happen. That's for sure.
He has the minefield sign ready.
Oh,
just
here we go.
Deliver.
Oh, no. Oh, Bob's. He gets a little bit too excited. Arena down. Gabby will make the jump in onto CML. CML is eventually going to be chipped away at. Krish does jump in with the Chemical Rage. Palos, in the meantime, will go after Bob. Pino getting to work onto the Meepo, but the Meepo will just go for a run. While Arbet going for the Rolling Thunder, but does also just look to retreat. They got CML, but now they can just wait for the Chemical Rage to expire, and then perhaps just force Roshan.
Yeah, they've had a lot of options.
But again, they want to fight now. The Chemical Rage is expiring. Pino is being targeted. The Minefield sign has been activated, but it does nothing. Arbet, though, he does actually go down. They have got the Pango. Arbet, maybe extending a little bit, does end up dying.
I mean, the minefield sign's still there. The AoE is just so tiny for it to trigger. You have to be within 200 units. That's less. Monkey King has more attack range than that. You know, you have to be very close to it. So they still have that for the defensivists. Not that it takes long at all. Free Ags to give out onto Bob as well. So the Horn Toss is ready. See if that helps in trying to pull some of these heroes back. A little bit of an awkward fight. All of these fights are starting to get pretty scrappy. Right, like Krish was trapped up using BKB Chemical Rage, but Shank's Fissure just blocked him off in his own area. But then again, the follow-through from Blacklist falls short. They dodge the RP, but Rolling Thunder doesn't amount to much outside of CML. I mean, it's getting scrappier. And Execration, that's where they thrive.
Alright, Triangle now. Try to fight again. Trying to find a straggler here is Execration. Kind of missing out on everybody, though. Gabby, in the meantime, having a look to see if he can start another fight. Shanks misses out on the Fissure to boot, so Tims will just casually walk away from this. Execration trying desperately to capitalize over the 5v4 situation they have, but it's not going to happen. Nobody gets caught. They'll try again with the 4-man smoke now. Tino's already rushing through the mid lane with this Aegis up. Towards the west we go. Execration desperately want a kind of pick off here for their side to move high ground. Vision down, Bob looking for the skewer play. Oh, I bet Palos, you've both got to be so careful here. Like, they move up a little bit too far. Palos. I want the Meepo by the looks of it instead. In fact, it's the Viper getting jumped. Tino, now the Echo Slap! Oh, what a slap coming in from Shanks!
Oh my god!
He found everyone! Gabby and Palos both going down. They both have buyback. They'll need to commit them, I think.
They have to stop this. There are 2 lives on Tino. He doesn't care. He's going to be sticking up front. They know no slam and RP. It's an opening for Blacklist to try to make something happen here.
Come the buybacks, both of them being committed. That mid-rack's 1 hit away from dying. Tino desperately trying to just hit the melee barracks. Finally does get it, but he might just die for this. Meanwhile, they do find CML. They're on a Bob now. Bob forced the BKB and just skewer away from Palos, but now they've left Tino behind. Meanwhile, Krish, he's also kind of been left behind, but he'll be able to BKB and walk away as the Fissure does come out. Tino, he's taking a fair bit of damage. Is anyone going to help him out? Tino, he's surviving. He gets the Bloodstone off. He will heal up through all this. Meanwhile, the skewer, Bob, he'll drag him out of the face. Palos, he's dropping pretty darn low, but gets the dig off in time. He'll survive another day. Meanwhile, the Meepo coming out. There's your blast off. CML holding them down. Can they deal with the Meepo though? Palos, he's just so tanky.
Krish.
But Tino eventually gets it done. They eventually get it done. The tiebacks are there. This game is over. I think game 1 is going the way of Execration. And what a fight it was. Blacklist Rivalry trying their best to capitalize off the buybacks. But just Execration unrelenting in this game 1.
I'm loving what I'm seeing from both of these teams. You know, Blacklist playing aggressively, Execration really playing aggressively as well. Going just